I'm playing around with an intro. I don't know that I did it well, but we'll find out. You can let me know in the comments.
I think it worked fine.
I think it worked. Catherine says hello. Everyone's saying hello, and to you, Enzo.
Hello.
So there you go. So we're here, and but where I am at the moment, it is Friday the 13th. I know dun, dun, dun. It's Friday 13th for me, but what were you saying, Enzo? Everyone there is still safe. It's me that's in danger.
I am still safely in Thursday the 12th, while you are in grave mortal danger at Friday the 13th already.
No, I was telling Enzo actually that I think 13 is a lucky number, because if you add them both together, 1 + 3 = 4, and 4 is my lucky number. So I think today I'll be fine. Oh, gosh.
I always had like opposite luck, so I'm going to go out tomorrow and buy a lottery ticket.
Yeah, I reckon. I won. You have those little scratch tickets in America too.
Yep.
I went in one year when my boys were little. I went in one year and I brought a black, because it was for Friday 13th, a black cat scratchy, So I scratched it off. I didn't win anything, and it said write your name and address, and you go into a draw to win blah blah. And I went, So I filled it in, chucked it in the box, didn't think anything more of it, and that was October. And in December, I got a knock on the door. Because it was back in the day where we didn't have mobile telephones. I got a knock on the door to say, we've got a delivery for you. And I'm like, okay. And it was a television, a stereo, a hi-fi system, a video camera. What else did I win? All these things. Yeah, and the boys thought, well, it was Christmas. And I said to the boys, look what we've won, all from a scratch it ticket. So there you go. That's the only first and last time I think I've ever won anything. But there you go. That's why I think Friday the 13th could be lucky.
That's pretty lucky. That's very lucky.
Hey, Kibba. Hi. I'm sorry, guys, that I had to do this on the off day, but I'm heading to Canberra in the morning, which is Saturday morning for me, which is generally when I do the live stream. But I've got to get up at 4:30 to catch a 6 a.m. flight to Canberra. So I thought, I won't. So I thought I've still got to touch base with everyone and say, hey, because I want to. And I thought, well, I'll do it tonight. I'm sure there'll be plenty of other people who can entertain you for the weekend. Hey, Jess. Jess says hello to you too, Enzo.
Hello. Jess,
Stephanie.
She'll be on live here in a few more hours.
Yep. I'll be off before then, Jess. So there you go. I'll be off before. I intend only to speak at most, to talk today, at most for maybe an hour and a half. 2 hours would be stretching it today, but I plan. Yes, Enzo will keep on top of me. Hey, Grumpy Bear, hey guys, Jess. That's the name of Jess's channel, isn't it? Jess Rock.
It's she just changed it. It's not Escape the Simulation. Is it still Escape the Simulation?
Hang on. In fact, I made you a moderator, Enzo. You can put her link to her channel up if you like.
Let me find her link to the show tonight. She has.
Yeah, do that, and then people can come over and check you out, Jess. It's nice when people check you out. Hey, Tony, Antoine. Do I say it correctly when I say Antoine? Because that's how it looks like it should, or is it it must be Antoine, but you tell me if it's yes or no, and then I'll figure it out. I like to say people's names properly. Oh dear. Yeah, so that's why I'm here, and I'm going to try to limit my goodbyes to at least no more than twice today. Oh, dear. How you going, Enzo? Can you find it?
Yep, I got it here. Hang on a second. Did
I see Maisie?
I have a wrench. I can do it myself.
Yeah, that's what I said. I tell you what, men don't listen, do they, girls?
I'm sorry, what?
Nothing. What? Hi, Maisie. My Scottish Rose. I gave everyone names the other day. Oh, nicknames. because I called Tanya. Tanya won't be here today because I think she's in New Zealand. What time would it be now? I think they're 2 hours ahead, so 11, about 1 in the afternoon. I think she's at work, I think. So you've just not got any Tanya. There are. Enzo's put the link to Jess's channel up if any of you guys want to sort of cut and paste that or something, or check it out later, because Jess will be going live. It's always good to check out new people. And if Enzo recommends her, she must be interesting.
Even I have been on that show a few times.
There you go. Oh, dear. What did I call you, Catherine? I gave you a name. Now let me think what it was. You better tell me, because I've gone blank. I've got Tanya the Princess, and Maisie's my Scottish Rose, and Catherine got a nickname too, and now I've gone blank. Catherine, what was it? But she'll tell me when she starts paying attention to what I'm saying.
Wait.
Angel, that's right.
Lag, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. My angel, yeah. Because I've got angels and fairies and all that sort of thing. Oh, gosh. So what's been happening with you this week, Enzo?
Pretty quiet this week. I didn't spend all of my pennies on Amazon this week. They had their Amazon sale thing this week that I did buy a few things, a couple of shirts actually, similar to this.
Yeah. Kibber's being a smart ass. What show haven't you been on, Enzo?
Well, that's true. I've kind of been on a few. I make the rounds.
Yeah, Enzo's a great guest. He's a great guest. Hey, Cheryl.
I'm the emergency guest when the regular guest drops out at the last second.
But not for me. You are my, I should call this the Karen and Enzo show. And get some jazzy like intro theme. Oh, I don't know. Did any of you guys in the chat see the little thing? Catherine did. I put up. Enzo gave me some photos this morning to look at from an eclipse that he took photos of. But I'll play it soon. I'll give a few people a bit of a chance to get in. But he gave me some photos of an eclipse, and he can tell you about that. But I put it into a little I made like a mock. Would you say a mock? I don't know, like a little video. Enzo's astronomical adventures. So if you haven't seen it, I did upload it, but I'll play it in a little while. It only goes for 30 seconds. But those photos are, Cheryl saw it too. Yeah. Those photos were really nice. Like, that's pretty cool that you could use your phone and just put the little glasses in front of it.
All it requires are these little cheapo glasses. You literally just put it in front of the lens on your phone.
Oh.
Just like that. And you can, of course, you can see on your screen when you're taking the picture, so you can zoom in on where the sun is and all that. And that's
so. What would happen if you tried to take a picture of it without those? It wouldn't work, or it'd be too glary. Or?
It would just be all white, and it may even damage the phone. To be honest, if you pointed it directly at the sun like that. But
it could. Well, it damages our eyes, the sun, if we stare at it. But, it's kind of like I don't stare at the sun much. Always reminds me of that Seinfeld episode. Do you remember that? Where I think George got caught looking at someone's breasts, and Jerry's explanation was, it's like the sun. You just look and quickly look away. You glance and look away. Trying to teach George how to look at it.
If he was wearing these, they wouldn't know.
That's right.
I can't see anything at all. Even like the brightness of the screen. And I had a flashlight earlier, like a really bright flashlight, holding it up to these. I could just barely see the filament in it. Yeah, these things are really good. I bought a pack of 10 to share with all my neighbors when all the activities start on Saturday.
Wow. Oh, that's right. This Saturday they start, don't they? Enzo can show you again today what he was talking about if you missed it on Saturday. Maisie Rose said that she saw the little video and loved Enzo in the spacesuit. I even made him fly.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, yeah.
I had that.
Sorry, go.
Oh, I was just going to say I had my spaceship in the background earlier, and I turned it off because we were watching people drink and carouse at the bar. So
yes. Well, someone just said, who just said there? Enzo. Yeah, Catherine just said Enzo's back at the bar, but he's not now. Now he's in his spaceship. He's in his spaceship.
It's my spaceship because it has a bar right there. See? Bar.
Oh, Grumpy, bear with. They've just said no forest tonight. You know how last week you had the forest, and Grumpy Bear said it was freaky.
Do the forest.
Catherine wants you to beam her up. At the moment, to tell you the truth, with the crazy world at the moment, I would love to be beamed up. Where are those freaking aliens when you need them?
Apparently, they're still harassing people in Peru. There was a story earlier this week. I've
got somewhere for them to go and some people for them to harass, but I won't get onto that subject because this is a happy place. All right, that's a happy place. I actually considered this weekend, so maybe I should make another channel and just call it Karen Rants, and so I can go on and talk about crap like that. But the channel wouldn't last too long before they shut me down.
Not on YouTube. Maybe if you put it on Rumble or something like that.
Yeah, but then you can only say so much because we're sort of powerless. To a point. I think if lots and lots of people raise their voices and say something, it could be listened to. But anyway, I won't talk about it here.
What I've seen a lot of people do in the YouTubes here lately is they kind of want to talk about that, but they really can't on YouTube. But you can talk about it on Rumble. So they'll do their regular shows like, okay, we're going to go talk about those other things over at Rumble. So here's the link to the Rumble thing. Go ahead and hop on over there with us.
Because I've got a Rumble account. Because that's what I do. I watch Russell Brand, and he's got some freaking good points. I'll watch him. He can talk about so much. And then he says, if you want to hear me talk about this more or whatever, come over to Rumble. So that's what I do to watch him. My mind boggles. It's just like fruitcake. But yeah, I just think, I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, I don't understand why we can't talk about things like that on YouTube. I don't know why they censor people. It's kind of like, it's a bit weird. But anyway, it is what it is. You know what you can and can't do, and you're censored. So there's other, like Rumble's pretty good like that. So long as you're not spouting hate and things like that, I don't think they allow that much.
As long as you're not saying, go to this person's house and beat them up kind of a thing, then you're pretty much okay to talk about. I mean, because it's the news. You know, it's not like it's, you're trying to encourage anybody. Waiting for Bigfoot.
Oh, because you're in the thing. Oh, I showed. There's all that thing of that's why I made a short on it. The Bigfoot in Colorado, and I looked and I spelt Colorado wrong, but I thought most Americans would probably spell it wrong anyway, so I just left it. but yeah, I saw that because you've seen footage before of the Bigfoot, and you're like, but after what Sonny said happened to him. And I do remember that footage that he caught of something climbing up the rock face. Good morning. But I saw that, and I read the story, and I thought, look, could be someone in a suit. However, what the hell would they be doing in the middle of, as I put it, bumfuck, in the middle of nowhere? The people that took the footage were actually on a train, and so that was just nothing. Like, they were just literally nothing. Someone on the train saw something and said, "Hey, what's that?" And then someone got out their phone. For phone footage, that wasn't too bad. Like, that was pretty good. And then when you make it bigger and bigger and bigger, I was just more astonished at the fact that when it wasn't so much when it was walking. I thought, could be maybe its arms. It was all pretty well proportioned though. But when it sat, I watched how it sat down. Now, I've been to the zoo so many times and I love the gorillas, right? When it sat down, it squatted. Like, you've got to look at how it moved. It squatted kind of really fast, and then this thing with its arms like gorillas do when they sit, and then it swipes at something, which I assume is grass or whatever, and then just starts doing this. And I thought, fruitcake, it could really be something. Like, because a human wouldn't think to, well, I wouldn't. I mean, a human wouldn't think to go to all that trouble for a train that was way off in the distance. Like, why?
Yeah, they would. People would do that.
Would they?
Well, it was a tourist train where it kind of like trolly puts around like the little town there that they're in. So it's kind of a touristy.
I would have said stop the train, and I would have jumped off and ran. I would have ran. I would have been off like a.
And I'm sure the guy in the suit probably would have busted his leg trying to get away from you. But because it was, to me, it looked right away.
Do you
like
think it's
suit.
a man in the suit? Oh, look, I was hoping it was real, Enzo. You've dashed all my fantasies.
Turns out the town that is there that all the tourists go to, and where you catch the train, there's a little shop there that they kind of have like a Bigfoot experience, kind of, tchotchke type shop, and they sell those suits there. The big giveaway is how
Debbie Downer. Well, I'm just going to.
The big giveaway is the sheen off of the fur.
The suit.
It's super plasticky, and it's all one shade, one color the entire way.
Maybe he just had a bath.
Bigfoot uses conditioner. I'm telling you, he's very into it.
Oh, bugger. Oh, well, it was a bit of fun. It was nice to think for a minute, but then I did get worried because, like anybody here, if they ever do find Bigfoot, like if someone, like for me, if I saw that, I would have said, please, 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 someone stop the train. And I would have jumped off and I would have ran. I probably would have been in big trouble if it really was Bigfoot, but then maybe not. I just go, hey. But I suppose my point is that if there really was a Bigfoot and someone can get to find it, they're going to hurt it. No one's going to. I can't imagine. Like, they're going to catch it and stick it in a cage and do God knows what to it. So I hope it never gets freaking found. I want it to always be a mystery, unless I see one. If I see one, I'll tell you, but I won't tell anyone else. Or I'll take a selfie. Oh gosh, Enzo. I missed you. Hang on. Oh well, Maisie was asking.
See them with these.
Oh, hang on. The chat went. I put Catherine up. Hang on, Maisie. Sorry, I'll pay attention to the chat for a minute. Yeah.
What is your favorite space movie? I don't know. I kind of like a lot of them. Used to be Star Wars, but of course they destroyed that, so that's not out. That's out.
The original
Sure, the original trilogy is always a classic, of course. Trying to think about. I like all of them a lot. I don't know if any one of them is where it's like you can only have one space movie on the deserted island, and that kind of choice. That would be a tough one to make. I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, my favorite space movie is Spaceballs.
Spaceballs. You kind of do get a little of everything with that.
Yeah, I love Spaceballs. And anything Star Trek. I do like the Star Trek.
Yeah, I like Star Trek too.
Yeah, but yeah, that's mine. I don't like horror movies. Only old horror movies like Vincent Price and like that era of horror movie, because it's tame, but it's like they're generally thrillers, and you're like, like it's, yeah. I don't mind them, but I don't like the new type of horror movies where everyone just gets their guts thrown around the place, or those horrible ones that they call Saw. An Australian wrote that. He should be ashamed. But like the things they do, like that's not. It is horror. It is horrific. It is disgusting. It's just horrible. I can't watch that because it's. But I can watch Vincent Price in The House of Wax, or, I can watch those old Hammer horror movies on the vampires, on Dracula and stuff. I enjoy those. They're fun. Catherine likes Star Trek as well.
Yep.
Hi, Julie.
Star Trek. Now, if the question was just sci-fi movie, hands down for me is the Back to the Future trilogy. I could watch that all the time.
Yeah, I can watch that on a loop. I love that. Michael J. Fox. Doc. I love those movies. My favourite, I think, out of all of them was when he goes back to the Wild West. I enjoyed that. What did he ask for when he went into the bar? He didn't ask for milk. He asked for sarsaparilla, didn't he? He asked for something in the bar, and they all look at him.
I remember in the original, it was he said, "Give me a Pepsi free." It's like, you're gonna Pepsi, you're gonna pay for it, buddy. That kind of thing. I forget what he asked. Well, I think he eventually just asked for a water, but it was like filthy well water that had like chunks of stuff in it.
Yeah. And I think he did ask for a sarsaparilla. Oh, what did just something about, I don't know if he said the old classic line of in a dirty glass, but.
Actually, he did ask for a water, but they're like, if you want water, you can go stick your head in the trough out front. Here we serve whiskey. And there we serve whiskey.
Yeah, I really liked that one. I like those movies. Actually, that was interesting. I didn't realize that his dad in the original movie, I didn't realize that he wasn't in any of the others. He was only ever in the first one. And then they got another actor to play him, and they kind of filmed him from different angles so no one caught on. And I'm like, oh, fair dinkum. And even in the last, I just thought, wow, I didn't know. It's a bit sad. Because I found out because he was in interviews being really pissed off that they did that, because everyone assumed it was him. And I did. I thought that was still the same actor, because you don't kind of look sometimes. But yeah, that was pretty chick. He should have sued. He should have got some payment for that, because they did. They used his likeness. Maisie Rose. Do you like psychological thrillers? Yes.
Psychological or physiological? Is she? What's a physiological?
I feel like, look, it's late there, all right? Give her a break. There, Maisie, I'll take it away. Well, I'm pretty sure she means that. I mean, unless she means action adventure, but no, she means psychological. Oh gosh, yeah, I do. But I like I love a good crime, like a whodunit. I love all the old Sherlock Holmes movies. Like I'm talking Razzle Rathbone. I love them. I sit and watch them. I did only probably a couple of months ago. They're all on YouTube, so I found them all and just sort of watched them one after the other. Oh, I love those ones. They don't make movies like that anymore. And I do like the new Sherlock with oh God, what's his name? Starts with a B. Benjamin. No, is it Ben? What's his freaking name? He plays. He's Doctor Strange. I've gone blank. This is going to do me. Yeah, it's going to do my head in. Hang on.
Didn't think of it either.
Doctor Strange. Just gone. Cumberbatch. Cumberbatch. What's his name? Frig.
Benjamin.
See, I had Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he plays.
Obviously, I'm not smart enough tonight. Let me see if I can fix that.
Gosh. Yeah, so he does a really good Sherlock Holmes. I like the Sherlock Holmes movies too, with Robert Downey Jr. Anything Sherlock Holmes, really. Some movies are pretty terrible, and of course Doctor Who. Doctor Who, David Tennant. Doctor Who with David Tennant. David Tennant was my favourite. And there we are.
Tom Baker was my guy.
Yeah. When I was a little girl, my dad used to watch it, but we had to go to bed. We weren't allowed to watch Doctor Who when I was little because it was too scary, the Daleks and everything. So I would sneak up sometimes and look through the glass, and I would see a bit of it, But if I got caught, I'd get smacked. So, but as an adult, I couldn't watch the old black and white ones. I sort of thought, oh God, they're that's really old. So I avoided it. But then I watched something called with John Barrowman in it called starts with T.
Torchwood.
Torchwood, yeah. Torchwood was on the TV here, and I thought, oh, that looks interesting. He looks interesting. I thought, I'll watch that.
Torchwood is an anagram for Doctor Who.
Yes, I know. And I didn't know that at the time, but I know now. And I'm watching it, and there was a hand in a jar in the whole series. There's this hand in a jar. And I'm like, what the fuck? And then he says, and then he tells a story in one of the shows. And then I looked it up and I went, oh. So I went back and found I wanted to see him, John Barrowman, in Doctor Who. I wasn't all that interested in Doctor Who, but I wanted to watch it to see the origins of Jack in Torchwood. And that was the first one they brought back, the Doctor. They was only there for one season. And then David Tennant came on board, and then there was more of Captain Jack, and I just fell in love. I thought, God, they make this like it's really well made now. Like it's beautifully made. They ruined it though. I stopped watching it. I stopped watching it towards the end of Matt Smith. He was all right. I didn't mind him, but no David Tennant, and I couldn't watch it after that. It was, and then it went really cray, and I'm just like,
it's always tough when you're watching Doctor Who, and they, of course, the Doctor regenerates into some different actor, over time, and whoever it was that got you into the show, that's your Doctor. Like for me, Tom Baker is my Doctor. And whoever the next person is, you kind of hate him. You kind of like hold it against them. It's like, I want my Doctor back. You're not my Doctor.
But, I hope I don't upset anyone in the chat, but when they changed the Doctor's sex, I thought, oh, for fuck's sake, seriously, do you have to do that? I mean, for fuck's sake, he's got a daughter. If you watch the show, he had a daughter, and she goes off in a freaking time fucking thing. Why not just bring her back if you want a female Doctor? Leave it alone. But no. I've had arguments with that.
I know it's like when you start thinking about the dynamic of that society, then where they can, the Time Lords can regenerate into. It's like, what if they were like pregnant when they regenerated and like regenerated? How would that work? It's like, what? How does?
I know. I mean, let's face it. It was a feminist move, and girls, I'm not a feminist. I am a woman. And I like being a woman, and I believe in, like, I am. Oh, no, hang on. I'm for everything out. My mum and like all the things that we've got, like a woman should have rights and all that sort of thing. But I'm not this cray, men are bad. And why can't a woman be this? Yeah, a woman can be that, but be that on your own. Don't take someone else's thing. So that's why I thought, you know what? Why did you do that? Like, just another Doctor. He was a man. An alien, but he was male. So just leave him male and then do not even a spin-off, just introduce another Doctor. And it's her. And she goes off on adventures some weeks or whatever. That would have been better and easier to swallow.
If you go back far enough to even the Tom Baker era, they had the Key to Time series that they did where he partnered up with a female Time Lord to help him discover the pieces to the Key of Time, Romana. And she's still out there doing her thing somewhere in the universe. So they could have easily brought Romana back, and everybody would have loved it.
Yep, and I would have liked it, and I would have kept watching it. And I don't know why they didn't get Captain Jack back a few times. Even John Barrowman, the actor, didn't understand that. He was lucky though. He went off for a while and was in Arrow on the what is it, CWW or whatever it is, and he was really good in that. But yeah, I don't know. They just ruined it.
Well,
I don't mind.
John Barrowman's name is kind of mud right now because apparently he was fond of hijinks and shenanigans on set. Like it'd be really funny if he would, pull his member out in front of people on the set and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think a lot of people knew he did that stuff then anyway. But that's the thing. Freaking they did that. Like, so what? What's that? So I heard someone say something the other day, get a helmet and deal with it or something. Like, for fuck's sake, forget about it. But back in the 90s and the noughties or whatever you want, it was normal. Leave people alone. Freaking hell, I don't give a shit. Yeah, see, get your helmet and deal with it. Well, Julie,
helmet on. I am ready.
Hang on, have I got my... Oh, up, you can't see it, but up... Where am I? Up behind here, in between the side-eye guy and the shape, is a framed photograph of Jensen Ackles and the one I'm not so fond of. He's all right, but I've got
Jared
a sign. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. Sometimes when it comes to classics, they just need to leave things alone.
I agree.
Because it's, you know, like younger ones go, oh, but why can't they? And I think, oh, just shh. Because.
Yeah, we're kind of coming out of this weird period where because a lot of people have just rejected a lot of that foolishness that we've seen coming out of Disney and stuff like that, where it's like, just look at the box office from this past year. Almost all of the movies bombed, except for the Mario movie, Barbie, and Oppenheimer. And there's probably like one other one from this past year that didn't bomb, but everything else tanked. Everyone's tired of the superhero stuff. Everyone's tired of, wacky comedies that aren't really funny and are just silly. People are tired of, it's really, we just want a good entertainment. We don't need anyone preaching at us, whatever your particular beliefs are. It's like, no, that's not amusing.
Oh, I actually, what was I watching? It was a short, and it was on Doritos had put out, I think in America, I'm not sure where it is, a new ad. And it's grandma, it's an animated one, and it's a grandma sitting at a table. And I think she says, I miss my brother or whatever. And the spirit rises. They're all eating Doritos, the spirit rises. And I thought, and I just like, it goes from, I think it was her brother, and then it goes on to something else. And it started to get really woke. I mean, even my kids go, what's that word mean, Mum? And I said, I don't really know. It's a new word that was invented to describe people who are silly. I don't know. I said, like Meghan Markle or Meghan Markle. But I don't know, because we've grown up. I've grown up with all different sorts of people and gay people and trans people and in-between people. And it's just normal, whatever. And now this new movement has made it not normal. Like, that's my opinion. It just makes it, the people that fought for their rights in that community, the gay community, trans community, they fought to not be getting beaten up. Like, they fought hard. Same as women fought hard for their rights. And now these new kids come along, and some older women that have got nothing better to do, and just stirred up a hornet's nest that didn't need to be stirred, because people are everything was okay. And now people, I mean, I don't know, people can comment if they like, but I think now a lot of people that aren't it's very hateful coming from the other side, like not very hateful language, like, you misgendered me. Like, oh, for fuck's sake. Well, if you want to be, in my opinion, if you want to be noted as a boy or a girl and you look like a boy or you look like a girl, everyday normal people are going to go she or he or whatever. Like, get a helmet and deal with it. Like, people will talk to you properly and address you as you please, but don't be rude about it. Otherwise, people won't. Right. That's how I feel. But I'm old, all right? So forgive me. I'm just like, well, Catherine, yes. I mean, Catherine would not understand completely, and Heather understands as well. There's a lot of people out there that, as I say, have fought and battled and of an older generation. And then the young ones come in and have no understanding of what the people before them went through to get them where they are now with the freedoms they've got. They think it's all their problem. It's all their fight. And, bless them, some of them really don't know, but the ones that get out there and just scream at people and yell at people, they do not do their cause any good.
And that's never worked, no matter whatever their cause is. If it's
it never works, even if it's saving animals or
demonizing never works in the long run. People kind of back off from it. It's like, oh, relax, and now it's like, all right, fuck off.
Yeah, I just think, I don't want to ever hurt anyone's feelings or anything like that, but it's doing a lot of damage. It's and to kids, because kids, the internet wasn't here when we were little. Even my boys, the internet wasn't really a viable thing. You were just taught by good people, good parents, to be tolerant of others and understanding. And I remember, I hope you laugh at this, Catherine. Remember the show Glee? And the young boy, there was a character in it who was gay, right? Someone was at my house one night and there was an episode on with him, and the person that was visiting said, oh, he's gay, like that. And my kids were there, my girls, and I turned around and I said, yeah. And the girls looked at me as if to say, is there something wrong with that? And I said, girls, gay is okay. Person that was visiting went like that, and I said, yeah, not in this house, mate. Like, don't. Like, it's fine by me. But I just still remember that, thinking, my God, really, in this day and age, still people. So I understand. Well, I know, but players, okay.
There's not everyone is as tolerant as other folks, and they feel they need to say it out loud sometimes, I guess. I mean, that's pretty archaic nowadays to do it, but because honestly, even if you want to get that picky about it, what do you care? Whatever consenting adults do, one, it's none of your business, and two, who cares? They're doing their thing.
Like
it doesn't matter.
Don't shove it down my throat. Do what you want to do. And not the gay bit. That's fine. Oh, that sounds wrong. Shove it down the throat. I just mean,
tune into Rumble for the rest of this. Apparently, well,
it's just like when Bible bashers knock on your door, like
of course,
believing your religion.
This week's sponsor, of course.
Oh, goodness me. But you know what I mean, like with the like, it's okay, like it all, just so long as you're a kind person. I don't give a shit. I don't care what anyone does. I just actually, Catherine, do you know who Troye Sivan is? He's a singer. He's Australian. He's only a young man. He's only 28. I didn't know who he was. But it sounds vaguely familiar, but I saw a song of his on the YouTube and I thought, he's gay and he calls himself gay, and he's very gay, but he's nice. And I always, Catherine, I don't know why I keep talking to Catherine. Sorry, Catherine. I always wanted, I told Heather this, I always wanted a gay friend, a man, so that I could go shopping with him, because I can't go shopping with girls because they just take too long looking at the stuff. I want to go in and out. I want to get in, get what I want, and get out. And I thought, well, I wonder if a gay man is, because men don't like shopping really. So I thought gay man could be perfect because he'll just get in and get out and get what he wants, but enjoy shopping for clothes. But
I was about to say, like, when I go to like Costco or Sam's Club, I'll go up and down every aisle. But if it's clothes shopping, forget it. I am the guy that goes straight in, get exactly what I want, and get the hell out.
Catherine just said she might know a gay man for me. I know quite a lot, but none local. You're all over the bloody joint. Doesn't matter. No, that'd be fun. I like that. But yeah, I don't know. Catherine says keep talking about it. I love it. Yeah, Kipper just said, I always thought whatever floats your boat and doesn't affect me, go for it. Yeah, like it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's just important to be kind and love each other and be nice. And I know that sounds soppy, but that's the most important thing. Be nice to each other. Be kind. It doesn't matter. So long as you're a good person, you don't hurt anybody. Love is love, but that's what I think. Catherine says mention her anytime. But yeah, well, Heather's not here, so I can't annoy Heather. Oh, I went on Enzo, I went on live with Heather the other night on her channel, and I got all passionate as I do about a subject, and I'm blah, 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 blah. And Heather's gone, oh, Karen, I'm trying to make this a quick stream. Would you hurry up?
You a quick stream?
I said, well, and I said, be quiet. I'll finish my story first. I finished my story. And I said, did I talk too much, Heather? And she goes, oh. And I went, right. Yeah, gay community is fun. I love it. I remember once when I was younger and I was traveling with a band, I was actually a roadie. Well, I wasn't really. I was traveling with the band, but because I was staying in the hotels that they were staying in and not paying for the hotels, I was doing work like roadie work. And I remember one night after a gig that was there, I was young, and there was this attractive drummer, and I might have gone to his house. And I woke up in the morning, he had to go to work, and I went downstairs and his flatmates were there, and they were sitting there having coffee, made me a coffee, and they started to talk. The Mardi Gras was coming up. I went, oh, cool. And they said, yeah, we were in it last year. And I said, you were? Because they were sitting there like boys, right? Men, gay men, but boys. And I went, oh, no, would you want to see a video? So they shoved a video in, and the guy that was sitting on this side of me, who looked just like a regular nothing too flash guy, was Cleopatra on a big float with all the makeup and everything. And I'm watching this video and I'm going, what? And then the one on the other side, who was very handsome and whatever, he was dressed up as a woman as well. And I looked at him and I said, you know what's so depressing looking at this? And they went, what? And I said, you're men and I'm a female. If I put on makeup, I look okay. I said, but you look stunning. And I said, I'm very jealous. I was really jealous at how good they looked. But they were kind. They were lovely. I had a good old laugh. I don't mind it. I must admit, though, I'm a bit of a prude. So when you see in the Mardi Gras the ones with all the leather straps and bits and bobs hanging out, I kind of think, oh, put some clothes on. I don't think we need to flash our bits. But there you go. That's my opinion.
Some of those public parades that go on, it's like there's children out here.
There's children out there. Like dress up, put some clothes on. Like I really don't think there's a call for that. But I am a bit prudish, so I just think, because when you look at those two men dressed up as Cleopatra, like full on, like costume, like beautiful, that's wow. Like you can look at that and go, wow. But then when some men parade past you with leather straps and freaking whatever, you think, put a T-shirt on. Even the ones with a really good body, which you think, yes, you've got a really nice body, but geez, you'd look not much nicer in something different. But that's all right. Each to their own. Oh, Tuba Chat. Kevin's here. Hello, mate. Sorry, I just saw you. I'm not very good. Thanks, Kevin. Kevin, who I told you about Tuba Chat before. And so Kevin's got a channel where he goes live, and you can go into his chat and he'll bring up different people on his chat and talk about their channels, and show people their channels and encourage connecting and community. So, yeah, it's really, really good. I'm on a tangent, Kevin. I'll stop talking about that now. Oh, we should talk about the eclipse thing.
Oh.
Hang on a second. I'll show everybody that might not have seen it. I'll show everybody the little thing I made. Is everybody ready? Hang on. Where am I? Window. This one. Share. Let's see if it comes up. There it is. So I made this. Enzo shared some photos of What was it exactly? It was 2017?
It was from where I live there in Kansas. It was a partial eclipse. It was a total eclipse, the actual title, but where I lived was well outside of that range where you can see the moon totally cover the sun in totality. So it was only partially covered. It's called I fell under the penumbra, which is going to be the same thing I'm going to have this Saturday. I'll be outside of that area. But so only part of the sun is covered up by the moon as it passes in front of it. And that's when I discovered, I had my little glasses because I'm, a little safe guy. I kind of like my eyes. They're already bad enough. I don't need to burn them out. And just out of a whim, because I was like, I wonder if I could take a picture of that if I put this in front of the lens. And sure enough, it kind of worked.
All right, guys, this is the little video I made up. You ready? I'll show you. Yeah.
That doesn't look like the most comfortable rocket chair there, but I'll take it.
Hey, listen, you're lucky you got a rocket chair. So yeah, those were the photos that he took, but I thought they were really, really nice. Now Enzo's got just because Kibba just said, is it the eclipse tomorrow that it starts?
If you live in the southwestern part of the United States, it's going to be Saturday in the U.S., where you can see my mouse here. The shadow from the moon covering the sun will go through this part, where this center part here, that'll be the totality part. The thing is this isn't a total eclipse. This is a annular eclipse, which means that because of the angle that it's hitting the shadows cast on the earth and all of that stuff, the moon doesn't perfectly cover the sun. So it's also referred to as a ring of fire, because during totality, when the moon is completely in front of the sun, you'll see this little outer ring around the outside. So you'll just see everything will start getting dark. It's only like 90% covered. So it'll be like dusk outside in the middle of the day. And you look up at the sun with your special glasses, especially for this one, don't forget your glasses, where you'll see it's just this, dark hole with, shiny bits around the very edge. It looks like some crazy horror movie wormhole, portal to hell kind of looking thing. But NASA made this particular website here, where you can go in and kind of truck through to see where you fall in it. And I am going to click a couple of things here.
Julie wants to know what part of Kansas you're from.
I live just outside of Wichita. But I highlighted. That's it. Like in this instance, Wichita is like right here in the middle. And I'm right on the 70% line. So for me tomorrow or Saturday, 70% of the sun will be blocked by the moon. So it'll be similar to those photos you showed earlier, where you've got the sun shining and it only blocks like the bottom part as it goes by. And they have an animation here, which to get the full thing, because this is actually going to start out here in the Pacific, go across the southwestern part of the U.S., all of Central America, and cut through the top part of South America. And what's I actually would love to be down here in this little area, because it'll be sunset when it hits this area. So you'll have the sunset with this giant hole in the middle of it. That's going to make for some amazing pictures for down there. For up in here, it's going to be like in the middle of the day. But to show a little bit what NASA's done, this little yellow part you see coming in, that's that shadow area that pops in.
It goes pretty like far and wide.
And this little part right in the middle, that middle track you see that right there? That's the actual, because if you had a bright light and you put something in front of it, but it's not totally covering whatever the light source is, everything's kind of a little bit of shadow, but then there's the deep shadow where like right in the middle part is. That deep part is called the umbra, and that outer part that's just slightly shaded differently, that's the penumbra. And this is the penumbra. And what's important to remember too here is it's round still, because the Earth is a sphere. Sorry to break anybody's flat Earth dreams, but when you show it on a flat map like this, it looks all wacky and weird. And with this thing that NASA's built, you can kind of like move this slider along, and you can see and I'm going to zoom in just a little bit here. As that moves along, like at this point, it's over the south part of Texas, right there with the center part, the darkest part. And as it moves along, where it comes around and it twists around, and it looks kind of, it's kind of strange to look at it this way. There's a different picture that I'll show that I'll have to share a different thing here. A different photo that,
are you going to try and take photos of anything, Enzo? Because I'm assuming that's what Kib is referring to, that he'd like some photos.
Oh, sure. Actually, well, yeah. Well, this will all be live. If you go to space.com, they'll have a live cam showing the whole thing.
There you go, Kibber. Got that? Hi, Mika Steve.
But if you could share that
sorry.
screen that I just put in. This is the same thing that I just showed you, but it's in the perspective like you were sitting like at the sun, pointed straight at the Earth. And you see that dark part there, and then you see the umbra and the penumbra coming across there. And I know it looks weird, and you see like a curvy yellow line, which is that center part that we talked about. But if you watch it a couple of times, you'll realize that the moon, as it's cutting across in front of the Earth like that, or between the sun and the Earth, it is a straight line. It's just cutting across. But because the Earth rotates underneath of it as it's going by, it makes that yellow line look like a curvy sine wave.
Maisie says she loves Enzo talking space and science.
You are the only one, Maisie. Thank you very much.
No, it's interesting. It's interesting. Enzo knows a lot. Hey, Crossover Paranormal. Hello, welcome. We're talking about space at the moment. There's Enzo's just showing us
annular solar eclipse that'll be Saturday here in the U.S. and Central America and most of Brazil, the northern half of Brazil for sure.
What about Peru?
Matter of fact, Peru is going to get it too. You can see the picture right there. It's screaming right there. Those illegal mining jetpack aliens are going to have time for sure.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
But there you go.
There you are. So cool. Thank you, Enzo.
And I don't remember if you heard me, or because I brought it up because you asked, when is Australia going to have a solar eclipse?
When is Australia going to have one?
You've got about like 3 years or 4 years. I'd have to look it up again. But
I could be dead by then.
Yeah. Well, we all could be dead by then.
The way things are going. But Enzo the space guy. Who was that science guy? The science guy. What was his name in America? You had
Bill Nye.
Bill Nye, with the science
Bill
guy.
Nye, the science guy, who wasn't really a science guy. He just had a BS in engineering.
yeah. But he was funny. Yeah, I think I saw him a few times on the Tonight Show with Jay Leno. I think he was on with Jay. He's been around for ages. Is he still alive? Don't know. We used to have a guy that did a similar thing here, but yeah. But there you go. So anything else happened this week that's interesting that we haven't discussed? Anyone in chat got anything that happened that was interesting this week? I mean, with everything that's happening somewhere else, there's important things to talk about, but not here. Everything takes forever to get down under. Sometimes, Grumpy Bear, we get things that they don't get there. So like we have pretty clear skies down here in Australia. The poor old Americans, unless you're right out in the middle of nowhere, Enzo makes our brains grow, says Maisie. And so there you go. But I think the last I do want to get a telescope. I would love to get a telescope because some nights here the sky's really clear. But I do get a lot for whatever reason. I've noticed just lately, not in the last probably 6 to 7 months, I've noticed that for whatever reason now going across, like they're still way up high, but you can hear them. There must be a flight path going into Brisbane Airport. Like drive to Brisbane Airport, it takes me 45 minutes. But so far as the crow flies, so to speak, I would think it's probably not that far if you're in a plane. But yeah, I just sort of thought, because you don't hear them so much at night, just during the day, which is really odd. I was outside last night for a little while looking up, thinking, where are you? And I didn't see anybody, which was disappointing.
I told this story a couple times, but a few weeks ago when I was down in Caney for the Paracon thing I was at, the night before we were at a friend's house who had a big barbecue for us, and he lives like well out in the country, so it gets pretty dark out there. And unfortunately we had a full moon rise as soon as the sun went down, so it kind of washed out some of the smaller stuff. Like there was a whole parade of Starlink satellites that went directly overhead, but you could I picked them out, but I know what to look for. I didn't even try and point it out to anybody, but did get to see the International Space Station, got to see the Chinese Space Station. I have a bunch of different apps on my phone that track satellites. They tell you when they're going to come up and when you can see them and things like that. And I was pointing it out, and the ghost people were kind of freaked out. They're like, I didn't know you could see all that. I guess they don't get out much. The people are like, yeah, they're outside all the time. We see these things. We get it. But I was actually talking.
Oh, sorry. Parkes in New South Wales is the telescope that assisted with the moon landing. And we've also got Pine Gap. Pine Gap is our version of Area 51.
That's your Area 51?
That's our Area 51, land in there, but I'm assuming they've got stuff there. But yeah, the one that most people probably know is the Parkes. And I interrupted you, Enzo. Please go ahead.
I was babbling some science bullshit. It was.
How dare you?
But yeah, it's pretty interesting. There's quite a few tales out of Pine Gap area down there. But very similar to what you hear from Area 51, just strange lights and doing crazy acrobatics that normal planes don't do. It's actually very similar. Some of the tales I've heard come out of there.
I reckon that we've got craft that we are not being told about. I reckon they have reverse engineered something, and they're not. Yeah, there's something a bit.
I would normally agree, but my problem with that is if we had some super fantabulous craft could, do right angle turns and zig and zag and, go from outer space to under the ocean in a second, we'd made a fleet of them and would take over the planet. Because that's what that level of technology would do is you're beating the pants off of everyone else. But we're not. No, I guess that's okay. Good old USA decided not to take over the world. That's that, which is kind of a surprise. But I would think if it was easy enough to slap one of these things together, that they mastered, gravitational, energies and stuff like that, that we'd have a zillion. The sky would be littered with them over every war zone everywhere. putting a stop to it right away. But that's not what we're seeing.
No.
There's not more.
Yeah. And if they could do something like that, they could do something now in the, what area that we don't want to talk about at the minute. But Maisie wants to know what kind of apps do you recommend, Enzo? And I'm assuming by that, Maisie, you mean in regard to
satellites and stuff?
Stars and stuff. Yeah. Any that you can think of?
Well, for spotting satellites and stuff like that, I use an app called Heavens Above. And it uses the GPS on your phone to know exactly where you are. And it even, and it uses the rest of the technology that's built into your phone. It knows what direction you're facing. So it'll tell you, turn to this. Okay, look up X number of degrees and there it is, that kind of thing. Pretty simple, that one. And there's a number of different astronomy type apps. I mean, honestly, just Google Sky is pretty simple and pretty easy. What's that? Is that Jupiter or Saturn? Oh, it's Saturn. Okay. That kind of thing where
was Google Sky.
Google Sky is another one. And there's a whole bunch of different astronomy apps that do the same thing where when you hold it up, it pans the sky around inside of your phone, kind of like a 3D kind of a thing, where if you see a light up in the sky, you can kind of like just hold it up there. It's like, oh, that's Saturn, which a couple of weeks ago was a thing that I did because everyone was looking at this one. It's like, what's that yellowish kind of pale yellow star? It's like, oh, I'm pretty sure that's it's Saturn. I'd show them all. Like, they have apps that do it. It's like, yeah, it's been around for a few years now, but there was a lot of educating that weekend, but
you had
a lot of fun and very rare actually to be in the exact right spot at the exact right time to see both different manned space stations circling over within a few minutes of each other. That was actually amazing, which I wasn't expecting. So, but they're so bright, you can't help but miss them, even with the full moon out. So,
I'm just looking at a calendar where are we? Today's Friday the 13th. So 1, 2, 3 more weeks. And 3 weeks and 1, 2, 3 days. 3 weeks and 3 days till I jump on my aeroplane. And, well, I did note that an email just popped in from Qantas telling me there's changes to my flight and there's action needed. Yeah, what have the bastards done? Updated, Brisbane to Reno. Okay, I'm still leaving at the same time, but I'm heading to Sydney, not straight over. Then from Sydney to LAX, I'll get to LAX after 13 hours of being on a plane and arrive at 6:55. 6:60 has to be.
That's a long time stuck in a tube. That's what prevents me from visiting your country. Is that?
Yeah, 6:50. Yeah, so I leave here at 7:15 a.m. Arrive in LAX at 6:55 a.m. Basically the same day. It's weird.
For those super long flights, do they have like does your chair like fold out into a bed kind of a thing, or is it just a regular old chair? You're just stuck bolted into it for really 60 hours.
For the trip over, I managed to get a seat near the exit, so I've got leg room. But for the trip home, I couldn't get one. Ugh. So, yeah, because it's horrible. I get cramps in my legs because you're so squished up. So it's 13. Hang on. Oh, no, hang on a second. It's 1 hour and 35 minutes from here to Sydney, and then nearly 14 hours from Sydney to LAX. Then I've got to wait I'll get there at 7, and I can't get on a plane until almost 1 p.m. to arrive in Reno at 2 o'clock. But that's all right. I can just go to a lounge and have a snooze if I need to. I'm going to take a sleeping pill so I can sleep. Yeah, and then I'll just hang out at LAX.
I keep a whole bottle of sleeping pills right here. They're not really pills, though. It's more of a liquid.
I don't want to get drunk on the plane. They could kick me off.
That's right. You'd be screaming like that one lady. That guy's not even effing real.
Oh, that was stupid, silly woman. And then she admitted later on it was all, I don't know. She was just trying to attract attention for a blog or something.
I don't know. Well, she worked for an advertising agency, and the thing is like almost a month later, someone spotted her there. I was like, "Are you that not even effing real girl?" And she's like, "Yeah." And they were like filming her, and TMZ, I guess, bought the video off the guy. She was wearing almost the exact identical outfit. It's like, you want people to leave you alone, but you dress exactly as you looked in that same famous video.
Mm.
I don't know.
Maisie wants to know, have you ever been to NASA?
I have been to Cape Canaveral, there in Florida.
Anthony Nelson. That's where Major Anthony Nelson works.
Cocoa Beach, yeah. And,
Cocoa Beach, yeah. But he goes to Cape Canaveral.
Well, not exactly NASA, just purely by coincidence and by accident. I was out at Edwards Air Force Base in Southern California, which is one of the alternate landing spots for the space shuttle. And there was heavy weather in Florida for a day. They were supposed to land there while I was out there, and we're getting ready to launch. We were doing missions with air refueling missions with the B-2 for some of the training for those guys, because there's only so many of those and blah, blah, blah. Anyways, we're getting ready to like start engines and leave. They're like, "Hey, we just got canceled." As a matter of fact, everything is canceled. There are no flights out of this airport today, out of this base today. He's like, "What? Why? Hang on, let me find out what's going on." I'm talking to the pilot. It's like, "Yeah, apparently the space shuttle's landing here in like 30 minutes. It's like, "What?" And so I got to see one of the space shuttles land. And the thing that blew me away about it is, because you always see it on TV.
Yep.
And it's always like zoomed in on the just the shuttle itself. It fills up like the whole screen as you see it. You don't get the perspective of seeing it. It's almost falling straight down.
Oh, wow.
Like a side view of it as it's coming in. If my hand was like the shuttle, because the nose is up a little bit, it's angled as it's coming in, but it's almost coming like straight down. And then right before it gets to over the end of the runway, it kind of like flares out and then lands like a normal plane. I thought it was crashing. I see it was the angle was coming in, and as fast as it was moving, it's like, "Oh my God, I'm going to see the space shuttle crash right here in front of me." And nope, flared out in the last second. Back tires hit, pew pew, and it shoots out a parachute out of the back and all that. So it was one of those great experiences that I've had during my life, where right place, right time. So I love being able to see that.
I still remember where I was when the space shuttle with the school teacher on it exploded. That was horrible. That was so sad, and yeah. But they don't do anything like that anymore. They're not doing anything. Like, they should be doing stuff, but I guess it's because the private sector, maybe because they are like Elon's trying with his rockets and whatever. But I don't know.
Yeah, Elon and the Russians are the only, well, I can't say that now. China's doing their thing, but Elon Musk and the Russians are the only way that we're transporting people and supplies to the International Space Station, which, to be honest, is kind of outlived its normal shelf life. They're probably going to have to consider deorbiting that sometime here soon, because I don't know if you've seen pictures from the inside of that thing, but it is a mess, because they've made so many.
It's been up there for a long time, hasn't it?
It's been up there for quite a while. They've made so many modifications to it, where they've added this new piece and this needs more power, so we have to route it from over here. So there's just like cables and tubes and stuff just going all over the place. It looks like.
I've got a question, Enzo. I've got a question. You know how when you're in an airplane, you can fly out of the atmosphere. Getting out of just in a regular plane, there's no problem getting out of our atmosphere into space. It's coming back that is the issue. So why can't they build something that is kind of ready to go and put it in like one of them? What's that big, the something or other lifter the Galaxy Lifter. Is that the name of the plane? I'm trying to remember now. It's humongous. I've seen one in real.
C5 Galaxy.
Yes.
Cargo.
Well, you would have
Where
seen one because you were in the American.
The front lifts
yeah.
up.
I saw one at an air show here in Australia one year and looked at it and thought, oh my God, it's massive. I mean, you could literally build a little something that could contain some astronauts and complete, pop it in, and then build up all the other bits that have to simply be joined together. Fly one of them out into space and open it up. I don't know how. Like, they can do something, and then everything's sort of in the back of the plane, and you just pull it out and put it together out there. I mean, they did it in Star Trek, for goodness sakes. I mean, they should be able to do it in reality, and then just have a nice big proper real. I mean, there must be a way to build something and then get it out, because it's my understanding that getting out isn't the issue; it's coming back in. So why can't they
for an airplane? Well, first of all, a regular old aircraft, or even a large civilian type aircraft, or even a C5, can't really like escape the atmosphere. It's just not happening, because the maximum ceiling you're going to get for any kind of turbofan, turbojet type engine, you're only getting up into the 40, maybe 50,000 feet range. To get into space, you're getting into the 80 and 90,000 foot range to be.
There should still be a way. There has to be a way. There has to be a way, honestly, to swing shot or whatever.
Well, they've actually looked at a lot of those things throughout the 50s and 60s, because that's always the big problem, is getting stuff off of the ground up into low Earth orbit, or orbit of anything. But it's super expensive to do that. It's to the point where it's not like they have to weigh astronauts before they go up to make sure they're, so they can calculate how much fuel they're going to burn and all that stuff.
I just get confused because they spend so many billions of dollars on war, on vaccines, on all this stupid freaking stuff. Why not? Like, that would be a good thing to have something out in space, a proper space station, like that people could travel up into, just like Star Trek, just like you can travel, you can go on holidays there if you like, and then once you're up there, you can probably utilize being up there and get supplies brought up and build something out. There has to be a way to do it within our orbit, but it just boggles my brain that they say we don't have enough money, but
it's very expensive. And
I never said vaccines aren't stupid. I didn't say vaccines are stupid. I said spending money on them is like that. It just shouldn't cost that much. Like, honestly,
it's that same argument that keeps them from doing what you're suggesting, is because someone from the other side of the argument is like, we've got children starving in name a place, and you're spending billions of dollars to put an extra couple of ounces of Tang to the International Space Station or whatever it is. It's certainly a lot of.
Yeah, but the human race isn't exactly doing anything great at the moment, is it? I mean, we're
kind of stinking up the place, to be honest.
We're stinking up here. There's a lot that needs to be done, and we need to. I'm not saying go and live on Mars, because I think my theory is someone did live on Mars a long time ago. Yeah, like
there is that.
Yeah, I reckon Mars was like Earth once, and they fucked it up. So that's what I think. But that's my opinion. But yeah, like I was watching something the other day, and I've got to be careful of the words I use, but I'm astonished. Like when the things that were getting made to stop us from getting sick from corona, they had a profit. The people who made that of $500 billion. All right,
and how effective was it?
It wasn't, and how just wow. And I thought, fuck. And the other thing that's interesting now too, guys, if you want to make some money, pop some money in stock, like go to the stock market and pop some money into the people who make I've got to be careful what I say on the YouTube, but if you want to make money, it's, weapons and things. Apparently stocks, and apparently congressmen and people in your government are currently buying up stocks in the companies that make all those types of things for warfare. So there you go. There's a big hint as to what might be coming, people, if you want to make money.
That people in the American...
that should be banned. You shouldn't.
Yeah,
if you're
I agree.
in government,
100%.
if you're
I
in
agree.
government, so shouldn't be allowed. It's simple and pure. If you're in government, you should not be allowed to buy stocks in companies that are making those sorts of things, because then you've got a vested interest in something happening, haven't you?
Exactly.
So that's all I'll say now, because otherwise this is a rumble conversation. Because I'm getting really, really cranky, like really, really cranky. And I think there's a lot of people in the world that have got their eyes open and they're watching and they know what's going on. But what do you do? What do you do? That's why I reckon, where's these bloody aliens? Come down, go. There's some places you can go, aliens, if you need bodies to experiment on. I know quite a few in a certain area that should be picked up and taken away. Yeah, and experimented on. That's all I'll say. And that's not a bad thing. That's just like, if they've got a...
It sounds kind of bad.
Well, you know who I'm talking about, people. I'm talking about people in that place. I'm talking about some pretty horrendous, demonic, evil type people that probably, if they know who they are, could pick them up and take them away off the planet. Turn them into slaves on their planet. There we go. Take them and turn them into slaves on the planet of whatever they live. They can take them. Yes. When they come down and say, take me to your leader, send them to me. We did not create the Space Force to punch aliens in the face. Where's Wendy? Did Wendy pop in? Oh, there she is. Hi, Wendy. I'm having a rant. I always have a rant.
I know. I'm just letting you go.
You've got to let off steam. Well, what do you reckon, Julie? I mean, fair income, like, you know who I'm talking about. I can't say who I'm talking. Well, I could say who I'm talking about, but, those horrible people in another country that did some really horrible things. Just, I think if someone could pick them up in an alien spaceship and get them off of this planet, it would not be a bad thing. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, Wendy, are you okay, Chook? I hope you're all right. And Maisie, how are you feeling today, my friend? I hope everyone's all right as I go on a rant. Oh, yeah, they could take them too, Jess. Absolutely. Absolutely take them. That'd be another good start.
I don't think they'd want them. Yeah.
No. They'd only maybe want them for, I don't know. What do aliens have as pets? They might need some pet food. Yeah, they can have food. Yeah. Biden, the new pet food for your interplanetary needs. I'm a shocker. Karen, here's my thought. This is Wendy. Excuse me. Here's my thought on the aliens people describe. What are the chances that another planet would evolve with humanoid beings? I think they have been here. Oh, I think they are here.
I agree.
They're on another planet. I think they're here.
That's all my biggest problem with aliens from someplace else is they look a lot like us, which unless the argument is going to be made that evolution is going to favor the natural selection of a bisymmetrical biped kind of an idea, favor that over everything else, which I find hard to believe that it would be that easy. But the truth is we don't know. We have a source, our life source of one here on our planet and nothing else. So we don't know what goes on out in the rest of the universe. It's it may be everybody looks humanoid, 2 arms, 2 legs, a head with 2 eyes and a mouth and all that stuff. But I can't imagine that. Why would that be more dominant than, because even all the descriptions we've heard of all the people that have said they've seen all of these aliens, they're all Star Trek aliens. They have 2 arms, they have 2 legs, they have a head with 2 eyes and an ears and a mouth and a nose, and with variations on various pieces of silly putty on their face, like Star Trek, to denote that they're not human, they're aliens. That I have a problem with that biologically. It's like, if that big ass meteor 65 million years ago didn't wipe out the dinosaurs, what would the predominant life form be on the planet now? I don't think it would look like us monkeys. It would be something else.
Well, I think this is my theory. This is what I think. I think a long time ago, Mars was a thriving planet. They've already said it's got water, and it looks like it has got signs that at some point it may have been inhabited. Mars was a thriving planet. Throughout the ages, something happened. Something was going to happen. And the only way to know maybe is someone like yourself who knows what the history of the galaxies were back then. But something was going to happen. They were advanced. Something was going to happen, and they had to get off quick. And maybe they all couldn't get off. So maybe there was a selection, a little bit like Noah's Ark, right? There was a selection of them that came here to this planet, and some decided that they would live on top and do something there, and maybe others decided, well, yeah, we're going to go underneath because it'll be more protected for whatever reason. So I think they're under here, and I think whatever's on top of here was some kind of derivative of what they were, because they probably came here. There was probably life here on Earth, like Neanderthal man or whatever, and that's where they've integrated somehow on top of the Earth, and that's maybe why they all look the way they do, because they don't come out in the light very much. If you look at them, they're almost not lizard. I don't believe in lizard people, but they're almost kind of like a nocturnal looking thing, because they've got the big eyes like a possum or whatever. They've got the big eyes, they've got the funny coloured skin, and it could just be because they don't get the sunlight. They've evolved to the point that they live under the ocean in some kind of, and the ocean's humongous. We can't even get to the bottom of it. We can't get to the bottom of it. And then when you see the pilots saying that they were watching these things go in under the water and all that, I don't know, it just makes sense to me. It makes sense to me, and I guess I don't know.
Yeah, it's pretty wacky because there is that argument, of course, that they're not aliens. They've actually been here the whole time, that they evolved over there while we evolved over here, kind of an idea. And honestly, we still have never found like this weird missing link thing between us and all of the, lesser ancestors that we have, which oddly enough all existed kind of at the same time. So there was like, Australopithecus and, over here down in your neck of the woods, actually. Mm-hmm. And, in Europe, you had, various, Cro-Magnon and things like that. At the same time, it's like, wow, that's weird. They were both sort of similar, but the same thing. It's like almost like someone set up multiple experiments and across the planet and then said, oh, okay, this one's going to work. Because, if you want to go, which I don't necessarily believe in, but it's like, actually, it kind of makes a little sense. Some people have postulated that they were looking for, all of us, humanity today, we've all had our DNA jumbled up, millions of years ago, where they had different levels of humanity before they became us, and we kind of got that. And that actually, I think the Sasquatches might be our predecessors.
Yep.
To be honest. And who knows? There's so many wackiness things when it comes to stuff like that. But it's strange because there for like if you start going like the Anunnaki type thing where aliens from this distant planet zoomed in, they kind of experimented on what was on Earth. It's like, Earth has some valuable resources like gold and stuff that we could kind of use back home, but there's only a few of us here. How about we upgrade a couple of these monkeys we see floating around here on the planet, and we convince them to kind of help us to mine some of this gold and stuff like that, and then we'll just take it and fuck off and leave them to our own devices once we've got what we need and whatever. Because no matter where you go on the planet, even the deepest, darkest jungles that have never had contact with anybody else but themselves, they appreciate and value gold for some reason. It's almost this weird, almost genetic level understanding that this is something valuable. This is something that should be revered. This is something amazing. Which, if you're like a victim of a slave race kind of thing, where that was your job, you were created specifically to mine gold, that you would hold it in high self-esteem, that kind of thing. Not saying any of that's true, but that's the Anunnaki thing. It's like,
hey, Kevin just says whoever was running the experiment needs to come back and fix it. Do you know what else I'm thinking? If I were aliens that lived under the sea and I saw what was going on above on the surface, and I was happy living under the sea, we're happy under here. The ozone layer, like there is global warming, the oceans are rising, right? And God knows what's going to happen. I reckon they're just biding their time, and they've decided, you know what, those little monkeys up there can kill each other because they're mental. Let's just let them wait, and we're going to be fine, because even with global warming, we live under the water. We don't care if the water rises. So let them do what they want to do. I'm over it. We've tried to make them be nice to each other. They're not listening. That's enough. We'll just make sure we harvest some things in case we need it later. And that's maybe why they come and abduct people. There's an ocean under the crust of the earth.
That's true.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. You don't know what's where and how and why. Like there's tons happening.
The Earth's crust is many hundreds of miles thick. I say as I don't know, very thick. Where there are gigantic, like city-sized cavities, just caves, in the middle of just hard rock, and they've done research where it looks certainly like there's this weird like ocean that's trapped in that rock layer there that isn't necessarily connected to anything else. So it's just, who knows what it is. We don't know if it's salt water or fresh water or full of mermen and mermaids. We don't know. But because it's so deep, we could never certainly ever reach it.
Hey, Jess, thanks for subscribing too. Thank you. I hope you like my channel. I don't know. I just think the mind boggles. I kind of hope, and now I'm a human being, and I know there's great, fantastic human beings on the planet. Most of us are very good people, but the ones that are in control, the ones that manage everything, not so much. And money's a thing, and they're gonna just to be greedy and live in the moment and have their yachts and their private jets and their whatever. I don't know what the answer is. We're fucked. We're just fucked. We're just got to bide our time until something happens, something snaps, and the human race as a whole, us little ones that do the voting, can go, you know what? You guys can get nicked. We're going to vote you in, but this is what you're going to do, and this is how you're going to do it. And then there's still like a whole heap of human beings that maybe haven't evolved past Neanderthal mentality. And that's been evident, quite frankly, in the last week of events. I mean, there's different strains of humans. That's my opinion. We've got humans that are okay and understand and are usually pretty good. And you've got humans that, honestly, I don't know where they've come from. Like, they're not human. They're less than human.
Don't underestimate a powerful indoctrination philosophy.
Oh, look, I just don't know. I just don't know. And then you've got, I don't know. It's so sad because I see here in the chat and I watch people like I've met you, Enzo, you're marvellous, and there's Maisie and there's all these people. And I've never seen anyone in here say, I'm probably the one that says the most horrible things, like misting people and just let the aliens take them.
But by the way, you did want me to let you know we're an hour and 30 minutes in.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, and I'll have to go in a minute. Thank you. Thank you, Enzo. But I just sort of think, I know the human race is beautiful and kind and sweet, and I've met so many kind people, but then you turn on the news of the day and you see horrendous things happening and you think, what the hell? What planet? Like, they're on my planet, those people. Like, can we get them off? Like, how do we get them off? How do we stop this kind of crap? You know, I don't know. It's just one day, probably not my lifetime, but hopefully something will happen. And hopefully, I do believe there's something living in the ocean. I really do. Maybe one day they'll just decide, yeah, look, we better go up there and do something because they're about to let off some nukes and that will suck our water.
Hey,
like there'll be, there'll be something that we're going to do as a human race that will somehow affect them. I would assume a nuclear disaster would definitely affect even anything under the ocean because it'd have to poison the water. It'd have to.
Did they intervene for end of World War II, Nagasaki and all of that? Did they intervene for all the nuclear testing that they did in Nevada and in the Soviet Union and all that stuff above ground?
So maybe it's not going to bother them. Maybe they're just biding time to see if the little monkeys, their little science experiment. I think their science experiment has just gone awry. That's all.
Honestly, let me say this. In conclusion, since we're wrapping up the show, we are certainly a mess as a species, but in the end, we usually kind of come around and make it right. Don't panic about global warming and all that stuff. We've been in a warming trend for the last 12,000 years since the last ice age. Whether we hit a particular temperature mark point, today versus 150 years, 200 years from now, okay. I guess, it still would have happened and we still would have had to have dealt with it. There are companies all over the planet right now that are building giant factories that filter out carbon from the atmosphere. And they're using that carbon and reclaiming it to make various different items that I won't even get into. It's one of those slow moving disasters we're kind of good at. We can figure that out. It's a Scott Adams thing, which is a totally different topic. But I think he's right. Where if it's something that's over a long period of time, we'll figure it out. As a species, we're not dummies. There's just much like the internet. There's outliers that ruin it for everybody. Because they make the most noise.
Yeah, and I'm thinking, and I know all that furor and crap about Russell seems to have died down a little bit, which is interesting. But quite frankly, very, very intelligent man. So he does have some very valid points, and he speaks to a lot of people that know a lot of shit. So I have been watching him of late, especially around certain goings on at the moment. Just to keep, because you can't watch regular news, you just can't, because it's BS, unfortunately.
No.
You just can't. Yeah, you can't. I don't even look at regular news, so I look towards people that I know have sort of got fingers on the pulse and just know people who know people and do that. But what did Maisie say? Maisie Rose, bye, Julie. Wendy, good news doesn't sell. Yeah, good news doesn't sell, does it? But it sort of does. But I don't know. But I remember when the Corona was on, and I think I can say Corona because that's also a beer here.
The Mexican beer. Yes, I'm familiar with
The
it.
Mexican beer. When that was happening, one of the actors out of The Office, what's his name? John Kransky or John? He was in The Office.
Yeah. Right,
And he had a YouTube thing where it was just good news. And he
That's
just
right.
came on, it was just good news. And I loved that. And I thought, that's what they need. Someone needs a just good news channel. And everything is good news, not one bit of bad news, because we don't need it. We need good news. And then even when times like this, where things are happening in the world that are beyond horrific, you can at least tune into something to make you laugh and smile for a little while. John Kransky, that's his name. Thanks, Jazz. Hey, is it Jas? Is that how that's how it's spelled? That's how I would say it. Jas McHugh. Jas McHugh. But yeah. So, hey, guys, guess what? I have to go and collect my daughter from school. So this is my first attempt at saying goodbye.
First attempt.
Yeah, my first
The first
attempt.
step to knowing you have a problem is to say, I have a problem. That's very important.
So next week I'll be back to the normal Saturday morning for me, Friday evening for you. And I'm just trying to, where's my little handy dandy calendar gone? I usually have it open. Hang on, calendar, there it is. So coming up for me next week, you stupid thing, it's not opening properly. Refresh. Do you guys have that? It opens in all funny, wibbly wobbly writing. It's the aliens interfering with my internet now. Where am I? So, yes. All right, beautiful. Today is Friday the 13th for me. So next, it's Saturday the 21st for me will be the 20th Friday night for you. As I destroy my things. Sorry. That's my Uncle Billy's doll. But what have I got? On the 29th of October, I am going to see John Edwards. And then on Saturday, on Saturday the 4th, that's what they've changed, Enzo. I'm leaving I'm leaving sooner than later. Because my original booking was to leave for America on Monday, the 6th of November. I'm now leaving on, I tell you what, bloody Qantas. Now I'm leaving on the 4th, which is a Saturday. Jeez.
With 2 days difference?
Yeah. All right, so I'm leaving on Saturday, the 4th of November, to come to America. But, yeah, I'm going to see John Edwards. I booked it. I've seen him once before, and I've met him, and he's really, really nice, and I enjoy watching him. It's kind of entertaining, so we'll see. And then, I'm coming to America on the 4th. But next week I'll be back to normal for the live. It was only this week because tomorrow I'm heading to see my grandbaby and my son. And then I'm also going to pump out that Pearl Bryan, which I promised for last week, but I didn't get around to it, the Pearl Bryan episode on the lady that was murdered near Bobby Mackey's. And they think she haunts Bobby Mackey's, but she doesn't haunt Bobby Mackey's. And you'll know why when I do the video. And what did I miss, Maisie? Maisie's going to do something. Oh, hey, Wendy. Yeah, I'll be back normal time next week. And who knows, I might even chuck in a random live sometime through the week because I'm going for a job interview on Tuesday, people. Job interview Tuesday.
Good luck.
Look, I think I've got it. I think I've got it because she's been chasing me for a while and she said, come on, you know, we're a good team. So, okay. I'll come and talk to you, but I'm just, if it's not what I want, I'm not going to do it. But I think I will because I need money. But yeah, so I'll pop in that episode and that's kind of it. And I'll probably stuff around tonight and maybe make another little short video or something for you guys that's animated, something a bit fun because I enjoy making those now. And we might have to do
spaceships.
Yeah, well, if you can always send me other stuff, Enzo, and tell me all about it, and I can make another episode of Enzo's what did I call it? Enzo's what? What did I call? Yeah, I need a few still shots of you. Enzo's astronomical adventures. The Enzo
I
Show.
can't see anything. It's supposed to block the sun. I can't see anything.
Grumpy Bear's just saying this is Karen's 1 out of 2 goodbyes. Okay. I'm glad you all know me. And I'm sorry if I ranted, and I'm sorry if I said anything that might have offended anyone, but you know what I'm like. I get passionate, and then later on I cool down and think, oh, I probably shouldn't have said that. And half the time I say stuff I kind of half mean, but not really. And then sometimes I say stuff I really do mean. Actually, most of everything I say I really do mean, except I just don't say it. What's the word? I don't articulate exactly what I mean. Yeah, like that, Enzo. All right, my beautiful, beautiful people in the chat. Thank you for popping in. Thank you, Betty and Cheryl and Catherine and Jazz and Wendy and Maisie and Grumpy and Cheryl. Adventures with Beth. Hello. Did you just get here? I didn't spot your name before. But yes, I will talk to you next week. If not before, I might do a little quickie next week sometime, but definitely back to normal on Friday night next week. Okay. And thank you, Enzo. As always, a pleasure. You always teach me something. And I'm going to say goodbye. Look, and I'm not even going to look at the chat now because someone will say something to me and I won't end it. All right. So I'll see you next week, guys. And I'll keep you up to date with everything I'm doing.